The Arizona Trail bikepacking race is definitely in a class of its own and an incredible and unique experience. If you're thinking about giving it a go, stick around because today I'm going to talk about my top 5 things I learned on my recent completion on the 300-mile version. Hey guys, Dylan here with the Seasoned Bikepacker. If you've watched my other videos, you'll know I'm here to share unbiased reviews, tips, tricks, and general information about bikepacking gear, routes, and strategies. My goal here is to make bikepacking information accessible to the average rider. I've joined a community of so many humble, amazing, talented people that have given me tips about everything from lighting to nutrition to gear essentials, and this is my chance to pay that forward. There are some absolute savages out there pushing the limits of bikepack racing, from the OG crew to the new breed of single-speed triple crowners, but I am not one of them. It can feel pretty daunting when you line up at the start of a grand depart with some of the best in the business, people that will live in bikepacking lore for decades to come. As my good friend said right before the 300 start, just remember to have fun. Because sometimes this gets lost in all the gear breakdowns, timing spreadsheets, self-comparison, and moments of darkness on trail. This was my 3rd attempt on the Arizona Trail race, with one 300 finish in 2020, one 800 scratch in 2022, and now a 2nd place finish on the 300 distance in 2023. My focus this year was riding and racing and not doing video, so apologies in advance for the lack of photos and videos. I'll try to keep this one short and sweet so you don't have to stare at this mug for too long. Now I want to take a minute to thank all my current subscribers and people that have left thoughtful comments about their experiences. This is what it's all about, building a community of accessible bikepacking information sharing. If you haven't done so yet, support me by subscribing, liking, and sharing with your friends. Also, I want to let you know I've migrated my gear packing spreadsheet over to a cool online tool called lighterpack.com, and the links for that are in the description below. This tool makes organizing, weighing, linking, and sorting my packing list way easier. It has integrated charts so I can see weight distribution on the bike, and I can even sub-sort out the items I'm wearing and consumables I'll be using during a ride. It's free, easy to use, and intuitive. And I do have to shout out Chris over at P&W Bikepacking on YouTube for showing me this tool. His videos are amazing, so go give him some love. Okay. Here are my top 5 things I learned on the Arizona Trail 300 bikepacking race. Number 5, paydays don't melt. This year brought record-breaking heat each day I was out. Everything melted, including my gummies, which are usually fairly heat tolerant, but they turned into one giant coagulated block of peach-flavored goo. On the shuttle ride down to the border, somebody mentioned they prefer a Payday candy bar at resupply, and this stuck with me, so I gave it a try. Aside from my pizza, which basically got reheated while I was riding, the Paydays were the only thing that held up quite well. And as a bonus, they have 240 calories per bar. This will forever go on my resupply shopping list. Number 4, cross-training. My training plan in 2022 included exclusively riding bikes in preparation for the 800 distance of the race. After my scratch, I did some reflecting and thought maybe this training plan didn't serve me very well for this type of race, which includes significant hike-a-bike and lifting your loaded bike up over big steps and rocks. So I recalibrated my training plan in 2023 to include more trail running and upper body kettlebell, functional fitness type work. During a normal week, I rode on the trainer or outside a few days a week and trail ran the other days in the week. I would mix in about 30 minutes to an hour of kettlebell swings twice a week and do a long gravel or mountain bike ride on the weekend. This mixed functional fitness approach definitely made a noticeable difference this year, and I will be continuing this routine as part of my regular fitness. I am considering starting a routine of bodyweight squats and push-ups. It just feels better to be stronger all around. Number 3, hands got wrecked. I was originally planning to ride my Ibis Ripley full suspension bike for this race, but had to call a last-minute audible when I had a warranty repair issue on the Industry 9 wheel set that's on the bike, and I had to send them back for repair. This left me with my trusty 2018 Motobacane Phantom Titanium Hardtail mountain bike, which has served me well on multiple bikepacking races over the last few years. I thought the universe was sending me a message, so I obliged. I have some older XT 2-piston brakes on there and did some significant death gripping for hours on end and fully wrecked my hands with nerve damage. Since it was kind of a last-minute call, I went with it, but I've already installed a new set of 4-piston SLS brakes. A good set of brakes that don't require you to squeeze too hard for too many hours is critical. Number 2, cover all skin. For desert dwellers, this might be a no-brainer, but for the rest of us normies, this one is crucial and serves a couple purposes. The first is because of the sun and heat. This year's race greeted us with record-breaking hot temperatures, and I've always struggled in the heat. On last year's 800 attempt, a contributing factor to my demise was roasting alive on the first day in the Canelo Hills section.
I finally peed. Thank God. I was a little worried there. I finally peed.
The other reason why you should cover your skin is the abundance of cat claw bushes and other pokey, scratchy things that litter the trail. So I spent all year thinking about how to mitigate this, and I came away with 2 key pieces of gear. The first is a sun shirt with a hood. I used the Ultralight Outdoor Research Echo, which comes in at a mere 4 ounces. I know these have become quite popular recently, and got to give a shout out to my friend and fellow AZTR 300 finisher, Brett Park, for finally talking me into one. The second key piece of gear is a pair of Pearl Izumi sun legs. These kept the sun off my legs and from getting barbecued. Both the shirt and the leg covers made a significant difference when riding and hike-a-biking through the ridiculous, evil bushes that intend to make your life miserable for days on end. And before I get to number 1, here are a few honorable mentions. Bring a cheap plastic comb. I kept punching cholla cactus and probably used my comb at least 5 times to remove the cholla from my hands. This was a critical, small and lightweight piece of plastic. When it's hot, try and stay wet. Again, learning from last year, every time I passed a natural water source, I took off my sun shirt and dipped it in the water, which helped to cool down my core body temperature. I even packed a bit of extra water to shoot down the back of my neck. My front roll-up sleep system worked really well. I got inspiration from this from Josh Ibit. Thanks, Josh. He showed his race sleep kit on his YouTube video, which included a tail fin, and he would simply roll up his complete sleep system together and stick it in the tail fin. I thought to do the same thing, but with my front roll, and this ended up being a super quick, efficient, and comfy way to store my sleep system. Number 1, shoe check. My 510 Adidas Trail Cross have treated me really great over the last year, and they've gotten me through the Stagecoach 400, Pinions and Pines 500, and the Westfjords Way route in Iceland. I've put an estimated 3,000 miles on them in 1 year with countless hours of hiking and brutal conditions. Knowing that the Arizona Trail Race is a hiking heavy course, I made a tactical error leading into this race and didn't really consider how much cumulative wear I had put on my shoes. So around mile 150, all that hike-a-bike finally took its toll, and I wore through the right toe where the rigid SPD plate meets the front of the toe box. Small pebbles and rocks made their way in the shoes over the next 150 miles every time I hiked up a decent grade. I got fed up after a day or so of this and finally found a solution to take my sun leg cover and stuff it down the toe box to create a little outward padding at the end of the toe box that my toes sat on top of. So that said, my key takeaway here is if I could do it again, when I do it again, I'll either run flat pedals with durable hiking or endurance running shoes, or do a shoe check leading into the race and make sure I'm starting with a fresh pair of shoes. Well, that wraps up my list. What are some of your key takeaways from your recent bikepacking trips or races? I want to hear from you, so hit up those comments with your suggestions. I hope this has been helpful. Thanks for watching, and remember to plan, pack, and pedal.
You